As of the time of this recording, over 1,100 games have now been announced to be released at the Essen SPIEL trade show. And I've been counting down my top 100 picks off that list for what, 4 years at this point? A few weeks? Really? So let's continue on to the next batch of my never-ending picks that seem to stretch on into infinity and ever and ever and ever. Hello and welcome back to this Pair of Dice Paradise special series of my top Essen SPIEL picks. Now for this list, which is presented in no particular order, I am focusing on games that I haven't covered yet in other recent videos, and also with games that have a 2019 English release date. And that still leaves so many games that it feels like I've been going through this list since the dawn of time. I'm not kidding. Also present at the dawn of time is number 81 on my list, the prehistoric worker placement game from WizKids, Age of Dirt, a game of Uncivilization. In Age of Dirt, a game of Uncivilization, you control a small tribe at the dawn of civilization, sending out your workers in the hopes of collecting the resources that you will need to grow and thrive. Unfortunately, though, your workers don't always listen to you because, well, they're cavemen and they're not the brightest. And before you can even go out collecting all those resources, you gotta drop all the workers on that spot through a thing called the Passage. A three-dimensional mountain-shaped tower where they will tumble and inevitably get stuck, leaving only a few to get out and actually collect that resource. The rest of them will have to wait to be knocked loose on a future turn. So, if you send a worker to the forest to collect wood and berries, they might end up in the mountains collecting herbs or on the plains hunting for fur or elsewhere. Players will have to use the resources that their workers end up with to arm their workers with spears and drums to build a larger cave or create an invention which earns victory points for their tribe. And the first player to reach 10 victory points wins the game. Number 82 is Sorcerer City, where the grass is green and the succubuses are pretty. This is a real-time bag-building tile placement game from Druid City Games. Now, every year, Sorcerer City gets built and rebuilt in magically new ways, with blocks moving and rotating in crazy different directions. This is most likely because sorcerers are not terribly efficient urban planners. You and your fellow players are in charge of building the same city district over 5 years, expanding it and rebuilding it again and again to gain the most money, influence, magic, and victory points. Unfortunately, and I probably should have mentioned this earlier, Sorcerer City has a bit of a monster problem too, so you gotta work hard to mitigate the effects of marauding creatures who attack your city district. Every player starts Sorcerer City with a set of tiles, and in each round you have 2 minutes to build your city as optimally as you possibly can. In between rounds, you buy new tiles and you add to your pool and gain other rewards. But beware though, because monsters are also lurking around and will also be added to your deck, no doubt adding some chaos to your plans in the following rounds. And then, after 5 rounds, you add up all the victory points to see who the Master Sorcerer Builder is, and then that player becomes then the Master Player Sorcerer Builder. Number 83 is A War of Whispers, a game of medieval politics full of spies and secret agents by Starling Games. 5 mighty empires are at war for the world, and you, player, are not one of those mighty rulers. No, instead, you play a secret society that is betting on the results of this war while pulling strings to rig the results and ensure that your bets pay off. War of Whispers is a game of deep strategy, hidden agendas, and shifting loyalties. You start the game with 5 loyalty tokens, each corresponding to one of the 5 different empires in play. Your primary goal is to ensure that when the game ends, the empire that you are most loyal to is control of the most cities around the globe. Gameplay then consists of 4 rounds comprised of 4 phases each. Then, when the last space of the turn track is filled, the game ends immediately and scoring commences. The player with the most points, based off their empire loyalties and the cities that they control, wins the game right out from underneath that empire. Number 84 is Mountaineers, a game of adventurous exploration by Massive Games in which 1 to 6 players compete against each other and AI climbers as they maneuver around an actual 18-inch tall rotating 3D modular game board, which I assume represents a mountain. The theme of Mountaineers is lighthearted and fun, and the game is primarily focused on competitive route finding, resource management, character building, and upgrades, while challenging players to react to various exciting and sometimes comical, the game description does say, events that occur on that 3D mountain that I just mentioned a second ago. While Mountaineers has a similar 3D appearance to its predecessor, the Mountaineer, it is designed actually to be a different game. For example, I got an example for you, and this is it. The Mountaineer was a roll and move game that required resource trading between players and had a large luck element built into it. On the other hand though, Mountaineers, the game I am talking about today in this segment, also allows players to choose when and how much to climb and doesn't restrict by any element of luck. Additionally, Mountaineers also allows players to lock in their routes and provides mechanisms for advanced climbing techniques. And finally, the Mountaineer would open a flaming interdimensional portal to hell if he didn't store the box correctly. One of those three, it might not be true. Number 85 is MourneQuest, a cooperative miniatures-filled adventure dice game by Backspindle Games. The year is 1847, on Jack Turner's 11th birthday. This is an awful day where his father is lost at sea, and despite his great-grandmother Tess's belief in the power of dandelion wishes, Jack knows no amount of magic will bring his father back. But he tries anyway, in vain. And as a result, nothing happens. In an act of rage, Jack sets in motion a series of events that transports him to the true kingdom of Mourne, a realm half real, half imagined that's filled with all manner of fantastical creatures. Sounds like Jack's having a little bit of an episode. In MourneQuest, a 2 to 4 player cooperative board game based on the novel MourneQuest by Irish author Gary McElhorn, heroes Jack, Cobbs, and other friends must battle to banish the nightmares and save the kingdom of Mourne before their story gets any more terribly sad. As they race towards their goal, they gather power from the land itself with granite, blackthorn, flax, and gold, fueling their quests and magical items to boost their skills. But nope! Even the bogbeans, the normally elusive fairy folk of the dark forest and marshlands, you know what I'm talking about, seem set to block their path. Fairy folk! Thus, together, the heroes face an epic struggle to escape the bogbeans, dispel the nightmares, and finally defeat the Shimnavor, who I haven't mentioned yet, but yeah, they're in there too. Now, if you will excuse me, this game's setting has made me so depressed that I think I shall go take a short weep break. Hey there! Don't forget to smash that subscribe button! Oh, and click the notification bell so you get notified when I post videos about bells. Also, thumbs up and like this video. Then come over and take out the garbage and paint my house. Welcome back, where we're talking about number 86, which is One Night at Davis Manor, a self-published, team-based murder mystery game set in 1928 New York, England. So just York, England, not New York, America. The England one, which was first, Old York. Yep, set in 1928 York, England, in which players secretly take on the role of either police or thieves, and then must cooperate to achieve their objectives. The thieves are secretly planning on stealing the Davis Manor fortune, and then must escape with it in a vehicle, while the police have to arrest the thieves by using their skills, cunning, and powers of deduction. Oh, but be careful, because not everyone in Davis Manor is as they seem. Will you be a master thief or a chief of police? And how did the Davis dynasty amass their fortune? This is not a question that is actually addressed during the course of the game, so don't bother getting bogged down in that detail. Just do what you've come here to do, which is to steal that fortune, unless you are a police officer, in which case your objective is to actually not do that, but instead do the opposite thereof. Number 87 is the ancient exploration adventure game Arcais. Number 87 is the ancient exploration adventure game, which I have chosen to pronounce as Arcais by I'm going to call the publisher Arcana. As a team of archaeologists and adventurers explore an ancient Egyptian tomb, they stumble upon a mystery that history forgot. To uncover the truth about this mystery, they will have to delve deeper and deeper into the pyramids, dodging deadly traps and fighting back swaths of monsters who are running after them. And those monsters have one thing on their mind, and that is not to give you a present. It is probably to pummel you until you leave that pyramid. So you gotta ask yourself, has the old pharaoh placed a curse on this expedition? Should some stories remain untold? Well, the secrets are now yours to unfold and complete, so you do it. Arcana is a cooperative, story-driven campaign game with minis set amongst ancient Egyptian ruins. And each player takes control of an adventurer as they explore a modular board. And to do this, players have up to 2 actions per turn. Search, move, assist an ally, or fight one of the numerous dangers waiting for them in these tombs. And the results of their actions can be altered by the equipment and character upgrades that they earn during the campaign. They can push their luck at the risk of being cursed or suffering lasting traumas from injuries. So whatever your collective fate, know that it will take a team of skilled players to reveal all of Arcana's secrets. Number 88 is another game that's not a total joy to pronounce. Yggdrasil Chronicles, a cooperative mythological campaign battle game by Ludonte. In Yggdrasil Chronicles, I got the first word right. In Yggdrasil Chronicles, each player takes the role of a Norse god and attempts to keep evil forces from devastating the 9 worlds, destroying the world tree, Yggdrasil, and surviving the onset of Ragnarok. These 9 worlds are represented on a 3-level 3D game board, with the board having locations for artifact cards, creature cards, hero pawns, elf pawns, anonymous pawns, and more. Wow! Each level of the board depicts 3 worlds on it, and the middle board rotates around. Bet you didn't see that coming. In addition to the base game, you can play Yggdrasil In addition to the base game, you can also play Yggdrasil Chronicles on hard mode, where players just sit around and try to pronounce the name of the game all night. This hard mode increases the challenge of gameplay while giving each god unique powers. The game also includes a 6-saga Ragnarok campaign, which begins with Baldur's murder and then carries on from there, with probably plenty of other murders to figure out while you're doing the game. Number 89 is... I see what I did to myself here. Number 89 is La Cour des Miracles, published by Lumberjacks Studio. In La Cour des Miracles, you lead a guild of beggars, and you plot, use trickery, and opportunism to build your renown and take over the old 16th century Paris. Your goal is to establish your renown in Paris, or to be the most influential person when the penniless king would have reached the end of his path. Controlling a neighborhood in the city will reward you each time another player performs its action. And unless the penniless king reaches the last space of his path before, the first player to place their 6th renown token on the board wins the game. Otherwise, the player with the most renown tokens placed on the board wins the game instead. Otherwise, you could just say that the first player to be able to correctly pronounce the names of the last 3 games on the list is the winner instead. Spoiler, I lost. And number 90 is the strategic set collection game Dreamscape, thank you very much, by Silex. Dreamscape is a unique dream-building game which players take on the role of a dreamer collecting dream shards in mysterious dreamlike locations. Create dreamscapes with these shards, stroll along paths, climb mountains, not necessarily 3D mountains that we've seen on the board, they're probably just flat, perhaps metaphorical mountains, and pass through waterfalls. Along the way, a series of common goals offer new challenges with each game, influencing your choices while collecting and building your own dreamscape. Dreamscape, now that I mention it, claims to offer a game experience that cannot be compared to any other game. What? Really? Okay, Dreamscape, why is this? Because Dreamscape has a unique combination of route planning, resource collecting, and ultimately building your own little dream world as a small tableau. Are all of these things truly unique? I don't know, but maybe we'll find out when we get to Essen. I'm way off script at this point, so I gotta back up a little bit, but then I will continue by telling you that in the end, the wonderful dreamscapes that you will create will leave you with a magical feeling. And while that would be nice, I unfortunately am still depressed from that story about Jack Turner losing his father at sea. So, good luck, Dreamscape. I hope that you can make me shake this funk before the next episode, which will feature my final picks of the games coming out at this year's Essen SPIEL. Until then, I have been Chaz Marler from Pair of Dice Paradise, and for goodness sake, take care. Add a little bit of divine intervention to your dice rolls with either this Dice or Devil Angel pin strapped to your lapel, lanyard, backpack, or other pinnable surface. Roll with grace and confidence with either one of these 1-inch enamel pins by your side.